you. Now, the Islamic State group attacks stir up tensions, if you will, between religious groups. Talk us through, if you will, the specific context in Egypt.
Well, in Egypt, there was an overthrow of a president in 2013, Mohamed Morsi, a Muslim Brotherhood president, and that led to a spike in anti-Christian violence in Egypt because the Copts were seen as being sympathetic to that overthrow, even, of course, though they didn't themselves engineer the ouster of Morsi, but they paid the price in a sense. And to this day, when violence happens against Christians, the Islamic State group basically tries to sort of jump on the bandwagon, if you will, and has even led some of these attacks on the Copts. IS has done that itself, and I think its calculation is probably that if we get rid of the Christians in Egypt, then the Egyptian Muslims will kind of think we're doing them a favor because they don't want the Christians there. That's probably the IS thinking. So it is indeed an attempt to sort of further drive that wedge between Christians and Muslims in Egypt. But is it really working? I think that's the big question, because what we've seen a few months ago, for example, in Luxor, was the Egyptian police actually intervened in a much more sort of muscular way than they had done before to protect a Christian family. If that's a sign of things to come, if it's a sign that President Sisi does now really want to kind of stand very closely with the Christians and to make sure that his armed forces and police are really brought out in a much more kind of forceful way to protect the Christians, then obviously that would make things more difficult for ISIS as it tries to exploit these tensions between Christians and Muslims.
What does the attack tell us about the reach of the Islamic State group within Egypt itself?
Well, it's had a presence for several years now in the Sinai Peninsula, and I think the reason it's been successful, in quotation marks, is that it has run a guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run tactics, different from Syria and Iraq, where it's actually formally taken over control of bits of territory, set up checkpoints and stuff. Now, ISIS does sometimes put on its videos propaganda images of its operatives setting up checkpoints in the Sinai to give the impression that it's taken control formally of territory. That hasn't actually happened in reality. That's for show. It's for recruitment. What it's actually done is, as I said, these hit-and-run tactics, then melting away, going into a village or a camp of some kind where clearly there must be some kind of local support, or at least ISIS has managed to co-opt people or intimidate them or bribe them. And so in a sense, it's a asymmetrical warfare, guerrilla warfare situation, which is very difficult for any state to win, whether it be a Muslim Brotherhood state, as it was under Mohamed Morsi, or a security state under President Sisi.
Armin Jordan, our international affairs editor there. Thank you.